Hello, uh, this is Scott from Eat Media, and my plan, well, today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, is to compose a song before your eyes. Now, that doesn't mean that like I'm doing magic because my compositions, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just doing them, and I do what I do, and I like what I come up with eventually. Some of them, they may not appeal to anyone else, but I try to make them appeal to me. So, anyway, the point is that I'm trying to do this and narrate it at the same time. It's very difficult to do for me because composing songs or composing music is a sort of introspective and hard to narrate process. But I thought I would try it because I've never seen anybody try to do it. I'm sure people have. I'm sure they have, but I've never seen anybody try to do it, and it's hard. It's hard. I've thought about doing it before, um, but I feel like, and it might happen that I'll end up just composing and not telling you what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. So, I mean, this basically is born out of several years of practice, and so there may be things that I do that I don't explain, and I apologize in advance for that. I may not even know how to explain it, I just may be doing it. But anyway, the point is, or to get started, right now I've got of the bare bones of a song. So I've already started composing, so I'm cheating a little bit because the problem is once you have an idea, you sort of have to get the idea out there. Um, Quickly, otherwise that idea is gone. That's just the way it works. It's the way it works with creative endeavors. So yesterday I spent about an hour and a half putting an idea down. So the idea is it'll be harp and chorus. So in this particular case, it's going to be tenor, tenor, bass, bass, and it could also turn into soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm just winging it. I'm just doing it. And so obviously I don't have a title yet, working title. It probably will be Mary May, but who knows? I mean, I'm making up these lyrics on the fly and as I go, so I'm not super good at lyrics. But I'm going to try it anyway. So there you go. So it's sort of a jaunty, kind of old school kind of song right now. And it's really bare bones. So let's just listen through it and see what we have. That's what I have. Um, I don't know. I really don't know. I've spent an hour and a half on this already. So, I don't know. That's what I have to show for it. And I messed with this melody quite a bit. Obviously it's sort of derivative melody and it probably is um, lifting directly from other melodies. I don't know. I've decided really not to worry about that too much. I went to an Alan Parsons thing, uh, basically sort of Alan Parsons master class, where he did right there. He sort of composed two songs and then recorded them with musicians and mixed it all right there for you. It was take a couple of days. It was pretty cool. Alan Parsons was not the star of the show, in my opinion, though. There was a guy named Pat oh, I can't remember his last name, but he was awesome. He was basically used to be a professor at University of California, and is sort of an arranger and works with uh, movies and stuff like that. And he was awesome. He was great. Um, Not to take anything away from Alan Parsons. The point is, he composed right there on the spot, and I now have forgotten my point. But well, oh well, that's how she goes. So I'm working on this song. I just sort of Alan Parsons he sort of gets worried about whether his stuff directly mimics other people's stuff. And the thing is, of course, you can only worry about that so much. But if something pops up or somebody points out that this sounds like that, he'll change it. He'll just change a note here and there. And I don't know. I could go through and try to research, find out what this song sounds like, and try not to mimic it directly. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go off and do it because I could just drive myself crazy that way. So my point is, I guess, don't worry too much about it. Just write your song. Try not to directly mimic something else, but write your song. I've got a lifetime of experience listening to thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. So of course it's going to be derivative of something. Anyway, there it is. So where to start from here? The whole point is that this is a choral piece because I like harmonies, and I like to sort of that counterpoint and interweaving of words with music and having those different things come up, syncopation, all that kind of stuff. That's what I like about choral music is words, music together, harmonies with that words and music, and the different kinds of ways that all those words and all those chords can kind of run together and run apart and interact with each other. It's what I love. That's what I love to write, and I love to sing it, and that's why I make so much of it. I don't know. It may suck, but I try to make it so that I like it, and that's the point. So my thought is right now is to have a single section sing this opener. Whether it will be accompanied with the harp yet, I don't know. I don't know. But so it's just establishing the melody, establishing the tone of the song. So that's the plan at this point. I think so. I think so. Whether I have the harp yet, I don't know yet. In this first chorus, we'll get this that will give an idea of what the chorus is in its bare bones state. So just to play through that real quick. Mary, Mary, won't you come and dance with me? Mary, Mary, come along with me. Mary, Mary, come and dance by my moonlight. Mary, come with me and dance all night. And then there's the second verse. So that's a sort of short chorus. And the plan is, I think, is later down the line, I will sort of start there with that chorus, which I think is going to be like a thumb, 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 thumb. So just like a thumb kind of thing with the voices and with the harp. Probably a more expanded version than I've got here. So right now this is just bare bone. So, I'll have to do something more with that. Or Lorna will figure out how to do something more with that if she likes it. So I'll probably expand on that somehow. I don't know. I don't know yet. And but the voices will probably stay this way. So I'm thinking, thumb, thumb, or thumb, something like that. Thumb, thumb. I don't know. Probably a better way to write that in. Nah. Thumb, thumb. Maybe I should write thumb like that. Eh. See? This is the stupid problems you run into. I don't know. Let's go with this for now. Thumb. It may be hard to read. That's my concern. And we'll do this again. And we'll do that again. So, and then thumb, 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 something like that. Maybe a bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so that's the lyrics for the chorus, at least the first chorus. The plan is later to use that chorus as a starting point for some sort of syncopated something with the harp interacting, and I don't know. It's all very nebulous at this point, and that's the vulnerability of composing. You know, you're probably out there, have your own ideas, and they're probably better than mine, and it's probably like, what are you doing? Why don't you do this? I don't know. I don't know, but it's the vulnerability that is creating something out of nothing. It's so hard to do. It's so hard to do. And the only way to get through it is just to sit down and do it. You know, the limitless options out there. You have to find some way to limit your options, to just go with your instinct, to do it and say that's good enough, and then finish it and then move on. Otherwise, you'll just be tinkering and tinkering forever and ever. It's the same way with virtual instruments. You buy one virtual instrument, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it, and you get to know it really well, and you figure out how to use it, and you can come up with ideas. You buy 20 virtual instruments, and all of a sudden you're like paralyzed with panic about what is the perfect sound for what you're looking for. Well, maybe it's in this instrument, maybe it's in that instrument, maybe it's somewhere else, or maybe if I tweak this just a little bit, I'll get that just right sound for this particular moment in my song. The problem is, of course, that if you don't have any discipline to stop yourself and say, this is it or this isn't it, you just go on and on and on and never get anything done. You'll just never get anything done. So the key is not necessarily to buy less virtual instruments. I certainly have bought my fair share. But the key is, I think, and I heard this from Ill methodology. I forget his name. He has a great little video series out about how to create, particularly electronic music. And he says, you try it. You say, okay, I'm gonna compose this. This is what my plan is. I've got this sort of chord structure going, and I need a sound here. I need a sound to do my melody with. And so you find a sound, however you do that, whether you are going through presets or going through the Media Bay and Cubase, for example, where there's all these kinds of, different categorized presets, or whatever. And then you find something that sort of, maybe works. You put it in there, and if you can't make it work within 5 minutes, you throw it out and find something else. And you keep going like that. And if you can make it work in 5 minutes, if it works, great. You keep it, because out there in the nebulous, crazy world of virtual instruments and endless numbers of patches, there may be something that works a little better, maybe, but it's not likely. So, and if you do try to find it, you'll never, it's just like finding a needle in a haystack. If you've got something that works, go with it, and then move on. It's the same thing with this stuff. I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see the screen, but it's the same thing with this, is you just, if something comes up in your head and you think, well, that may be the melody that goes on that we continue with, just go with it. Just go with it, because you could second guess yourself all day long. You could sit there and go, well, I could maybe come up with something better. And then you're just paralyzing yourself. You're spending ages and ages. It really is more productive to finish a song, even if it's not like perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But if it's not like the perfect, meld of everything that you hope for in your one song, that is, and then you are going to, reach you to great heights and stuff like that. If it's not that, and it never will be, trust me, at least you can finish the song, and then you move on to the other song, the next song, where maybe another idea will come up, and maybe one of those ideas that you didn't find in that first song will come up, and you can start using that one. And it's really better to finish it within a reasonable time frame than to tinker with it forever and ever and ever and ever. If you do that, it sort of sinks under its own weight because you've spent so much time with it. Creative ideas are not there anymore for that particular song, and all of a sudden you hate the whole darn thing anyway. You just can't stand it. You throw it away. You say, well, why am I even bothering with this? It's better to finish it. It's better to finish it as quick, within a reasonable amount of time. So, as I say that, most of my composition projects these days, I think this is true of a lot of things. I mean, it's so true in life, that 90% of a job, 90% of something of an endeavor of yours, gets done in the first, in like the first 10% of the time, or the first 20 or 30% of the time. The rest of the time, 70%, 90% of the time that's remaining, goes to getting that last 10% done of whatever that project is. So whether you're cleaning, this happens a lot when we clean around here. Although what'll happen is it's easy to get to 90%. It's easy to say, well, let's just pick this up and put this here and put that there and put this there. That's looking pretty good. But if you really want to finish cleaning, it takes a lot more time to actually get all the little nooks and crannies, to get the dusting done, and to find a place for everything. Everything has its place to everything, and that's what takes the time, and that's what makes it easier to clean the next time. This is the same thing. I compose the song, and it may take me, actual composing time where I'm not sitting and thinking about it or taking a break from trying to compose it. Maybe in, 4 or 5 hours, right? And the rest of the time is spent making it finishing it. Not making it perfect. Can't make it perfect. But making it so that you're satisfied with how it begins, how it transitions, how it moves, all the little things that are going into it, how it ends. When you're satisfied with that product, that's when it's done. And it takes a long time from the initial sketch to the finished product. So that's just sort of the way it is. But anyway, so most of my composition, sort of the 90% point, comes fairly early on. And it's that last 10% that is hard. So getting back to the song now, the plan is to have a single section, maybe a cappella, maybe not, maybe with harp, sing that first chorus by itself, or that first verse by itself. And then I need to fix this. Yeah, that's better. And then the first chorus will be sort of bare bones, just maybe a little more harp. But really, this is it, a bass. And the key might go up because that's a pretty low E there. Pretty low. I couldn't sing it. Basses can sing it, but it might be better suited if I bring it up a half step or something. We'll figure that out later. The only reason it's in E major right now is because that is what I started with when I started plunking out the piano part. I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got the piano going through my regular speakers so I can pluck through what I'm trying to do. So anyway, it was the bass, tenor, with that first chorus, and that first chorus, and that's that. And then second verse, you can hear that I've got some more things going on. It's a slightly different melody, like it's up, starts on the G, So it starts a third up from where we started on the E before. Or the C, sorry, we started on the C. No, that's E. E. We started on the E, and then we move a third up to the G. So it's a little bit different, you know, and the chords that go along with that I haven't figured out yet. I will. It's probably fairly easy to come by. Um, and then I add some harmony up here, you know, and then we go back to the E um, bass melody here before we. I wonder why I switched there. Probably didn't mean to switch there. It's another thing to fix, so I'm going to bring that down here. I'm not sure why I did that. I may have a good reason. I don't know. But anyway, so E, and then we have a little bit more in the second chorus here. And we'll have more harp, but we still have the E and the low E in the bass, and then we add a tenor G, you know, in a sort of chromatic thing going up, almost chromatic. Yeah, well, kind of. This is chromatic. This D natural to C sharp to C natural. That's chromatic. This kind of goes up in a slightly different way, but it matches what's going on down here in the harp. And this is where I plan to, at the end of this second chorus, is where I sort of plan to extend out into some sort of dancey, you know, dancey, syncopated, words kind of overlapping with each other kind of thing. I don't know if you've heard Omen Wow, but something like that in that B section of Omen Wow, where I sort of go this very syncopated, you can't tell what part is doing what kind of thing. And this I plan to do something similar to that. So let's listen to that second verse and see if I sort of get any immediate ideas. We'll start with this first chorus. And I can just go on, but this is what's going through my head. This sort of, let's go on this sort of journey, this dancing journey for a while, for a little while, for several measures. And then we'll come back to a third verse and then come back to a sort of ending chorus. I don't know. Maybe. And I have to figure out, so that's the form. That's the form I'm looking at, is to first verse alone, first chorus bare bones, second verse sort of, and there may be more, I may add some more parts of the second verse, you know, a little bit of, I don't know, color to the words and music and the different choral parts. And in the second chorus will be what we see there, sort of, and then we just go off on this sort of dancing journey for a while. And then the third verse will be full on, like completely, this is the pinnacle, this is the what this song is going to be, this bring the whole choir in and do everything we want to do. You know, whatever comes to our mind, we're going to go full hog on it and do it. And then maybe that final chorus will be either bringing it back down to finish or bringing it up even further to finish on a big button somehow. So, and I'm going out of the camera, so sorry. And I have a hair in my eye too. So that's the overall form plan for this song. Right now I'm going to take a break, and then next time I'm going to actually come in here and do some work. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to try to narrate it as I do it, and I don't know how well it'll go. It's going to be so hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'll see you when I come back.
Eat.